extending existentialism into play therapy and called it relational play therapy, and really focused on the relational aspect of using play with children and families. Susan Nell has been really influential in the world of CBT in using play therapy. And then we've got Helen Benedict down in 2006, really started using play therapy to help people understand the relation between attachment and relationships through I cannot speak today, my goodness, theoretical perspective. So there's a long history, there's lots of different therapeutic approaches that people have used in regards to using play in therapy. I just wanted to give you some names and a little bit of brief history to see that it's gone way back. This isn't something new that people have just started doing as of recently. So there could be a lot more information with all of those people, but it would take us all day to go through those. We're not going to do that. So why use toys during therapy? Toys or playing can be a mechanism for children to address experiences, concerns, and psychosocial issues in a non-threatening manner. The thing with play is that it doesn't typically need to be taught, and children can self-direct their own play and use that autonomy to kind of navigate their current life experiences and what they're going through. Kiddos kind of explore at their own pace, which is really helpful, their own agenda, and really kind of address these past or current issues that they're working with. And they use inner resources that they already have, the ability to play, the ability to listen, the ability to pretend or make believe, to work out some of the stuff that's going on. So they use speech as the primary medium and talking as a secondary medium, which is really helpful because sometimes talk therapy doesn't always work with these kiddos this age. They're just not able to kind of put it all together. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of information I'm going to throw at you on this slide. I am willing to email all this out for you so you don't have to try to take notes on this because there's going to be a lot. But we'll go through them all. So by observing and watching kids play a game, we can learn a lot about personality, strengths and weaknesses, and other tendencies as we're being observant and mindful. So I'm going to go through them all. I'll take a sip of water first. So, being decisive and indecisive. Some things we can notice is whether a child makes decisions in the game quickly and impulsively, or if they take a long time and kind of look at the whole big picture before they do it. And then what emotions are we observing as they're doing it? Are they very confident about their next move in a game? Are they indecisive? Do they move their chess piece back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and take a long time? Or do they do it with gusto and they know what they're doing? So checking out decisiveness and indecisiveness. Secure and insecure. Do they worry about their next move? Or maybe show anxiety about getting too far behind? Or maybe they're just the opposite and they show a lot of confidence in playing the game. Their ability to multitask. Try having a conversation with a kiddo while they're playing a game. Can they talk and think and act at the same time? Or are they so focused that they can't see anything else? It's like tunnel vision for them. Are they able to track different moves like in a game of chess? Or is it very singular track for them? Can they keep up with all of the moving parts and considerations for playing a game? Chess is a huge one. Chess gets brought up a lot in doing play therapy. I never mastered chess. I don't know if anyone else can play chess in this room, but if you can, you're amazing. I just don't understand it. The ability to follow directions. Asking a child to set up a game and seeing if they can follow either single or multi-step instructions and how well they do in remembering all of those things. Giving them a role in the game, like being the banker in Monopoly, and seeing if they can understand and follow through with multi-step directions. Social skills. As an adult, ooh, that's pretty.
That's so sad.
You're fine. It's all good.
Don't disorganize today.
That's all right. You're fine.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. So social skills. Even though we are the adults kind of interacting with the kiddo in a game, we can kind of be mindful of how a peer would receive or interact with that kiddo. Looking at things like eye contact, fairness, taking turns, conversation. If a child is finding joy in playing with others, we can kind of make inferences on how their peers would receive this kiddo by playing a game with them. Are they a rule follower or a rule maker? Do they try to change the rules or make them up as they go because they don't like how things are going for them? Or are they the kiddo who wants to pull out the rule book before anyone touches any pieces, go through all of the rules, make sure everybody knows what the rules are, and then go through? Do they try to break the rules, either overtly by saying, nope, I'm changing the rule on you, you are not allowed to go on any red spaces ever again, or when you're not looking, are they moving their pieces up by 3 spots, you know? So just take, do they follow rules? Are they a rule maker? Are they a rule breaker? That kind of thing. Their ability to visualize their actions. Can they look at the whole picture and see all of their options? Or are they only limited to one angle or one move or one piece of your game? The expression of negative feelings. This comes out a lot when we play games, especially with little kids, and especially with kids who struggle with feeling and emotional regulation, and those who might be cognitively or developmentally behind. When they are in an uncomfortable or undesirable position, how are they reacting? Are they losing and they're having a hard time with losing, and so they try to change the rules? Do they quit? Do they throw the game across the room? Do they put you down and say that, you know, you're stupid, you don't know how to play this game because they're feeling so uncomfortable? Or do they avoid their feelings altogether and shut down? Are they a planner or are they impulsive? Do they have a strategy in mind, and do they react impulsively? Can they slow down and look at the big picture? Or is it just go, 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 go? Are they a sore loser or a good winner? What is their reaction when they think they're going to lose or after they've lost or they're too far behind? Do they immediately challenge you to a new game because they want to try again? Or do they say, I'm never playing with you ever again because you're horrible at this, it's your fault? If you win, do they congratulate you and are they proud and show joy? Or are they upset, get quiet, stomp off? Flexibility and adaptability. Do they show an ability in their strategy or an ability to change if it's not working? Do they allow the rules to be altered if it's agreeable to all the players? So let's say Christy and I are playing a game and I said, Christy, I don't like this rule. Do you want to do blah, blah, blah? Christy says, yeah, that makes sense. Are the players adaptable? Are they flexible? Another example is, let's say I'm playing Candyland and I want the red person and the red person is not available. How do I handle that? And am I adaptable and flexible? This reminds me of my own kiddo. He is obsessed with the color orange. Everything needs to be orange that he plays with or eats with, whatever. Plates, cups, silverware, orange truck, orange train, everything has to be orange. Sometimes older brother takes the orange things, sometimes just to make little brother mad. That happens. But my little one, his name is Sean, he does not do a very good job in being able to handle that well. We typically have a lot of meltdowns and frustration, and we have to talk through some things, and sometimes we even have to put the trains away. That's what happened last night, because it was mass chaos in the house, because he could not have the orange train. Keep in mind, some of that is developmentally appropriate. Other times, it's just their ability not to kind of sway and kind of be adaptable. Yeah.
I remember talking to an artist that did work with a lot of companies and stuff, and he said that companies tend to choose orange. It's the color that kids tend to be most attracted to. They use that color a lot in their marketing.
He loves his color orange. I was using his orange bowl for my apples last night, and he was not happy with me. It was, do not use orange. You get adult bowl. Okay. Good job using your words, buddy. And not shucking the bowl at me, but, oh, I love him. Okay, persistent, or do they give up easy? Do they want to quit if they're getting too far behind, or do they show persistence in improving that situation? Do they show discouragement easily, or do they show tenacity in improving their skills? Their need for reassurance. Sometimes with kiddos, their level of security or their insecurity might kind of demand more reassurance from you while you're playing a game. They need a lot of praise that they're doing well or they made a good move. And their ability to continue playing well or interacting well relies heavily on your reassurance for them. Something to look out for. Their problem-solving activities. Can they identify their options and choose the best one? Do they understand the rules of the game and make moves within those rules? And then how do they react when you make a move that might challenge them a little bit? And then the last one, their feelings about competition. Are they telling you or showing you that they don't really like competition, or do they thrive on competition? It's a great conversation tool when you're doing a lot of competition games about their experiences and then their peer interactions as well. So a lot of information there. I will email this out to all of you so you don't have to scramble. Okay. So to sum all of that up, as we monitor the patterns, interaction, and themes of play, we are able to make observations and begin to use rationale on why behavior exists. So an example is that we have a kiddo who's playing with some miniatures, so some little army guys, dinosaurs, creepy crawly creatures, little miniature things. And he frequently has one smaller one who is being attacked or ganged up on by several larger ones. And if I continuously saw that as a theme or a pattern as play, I would start to wonder what's going on, where are they, who are these players, what has this child observed or experienced throughout their life, that they're continuously to kind of play this stuff out. I think through play and being observant, we can deduce themes or experiences that kiddos have gone through. Not all the time. Sometimes they're just playing out something that they saw in a movie or a TV show, but I think we need to be mindful of patterns and themes that we're seeing over and over and over again when we're playing with these kiddos. Any questions on any of that stuff? And if you have questions, please ask or interrupt throughout. So who benefits from using play in therapy? Basically anybody. Children ages 3 to 16 is what's adapted from here. I would go beyond that and say I think even infants can benefit from play. You can absolutely play with babies in an aged and developmental appropriate way. But these kiddos, I think, are what we're seeing most often, and those are the kiddos who really struggle with typical talk. I don't really do well sitting down and just talking about my feelings and what's going on in my life. I get agitated and frustrated and bored most of the time, if I'm being honest. So these kiddos, having them stay busy and doing something that's cathartic is really helpful. Kiddos that have experienced trauma, kiddos who are struggling with behavioral issues at home, at school, and in the community, and I would also add behavioral or emotional issues. Kiddos struggling in social environments with their peers, and then kiddos diagnosed with any of the alphabet soup diagnoses that we tend to give them. Something I want to note that using play in therapy doesn't necessarily just mean like playing with puppets or playing with kinetic sand. Play can take on a lot of different themes. For our older kids, it's doing things like vision boards. Sometimes it's just playing a very innocent game of Connect 4, letting them get into the game, and then just having a normal, organic conversation. It can be journaling prompts, it can be drawing pictures, it can be reading books. There's lots of different ways to use play instead of the normal, just sit down and talk type stuff. Yeah.
This is a little off subject, but do you have any words of wisdom for therapists that are using play and staff such as teachers or whatnot that are not considering that to be effective, that are, like, you need to do so and so with Johnny, and don't break out your toys or games or whatever. Because I've had that happen once or twice. It's not like a common thing, but I didn't really have a good comeback.
Yeah.
So I just want to be prepared.
I know in our program we deal with that a lot because parents will say, well, you're just playing with them. You just bring your toys and you're just playing. And I think what's helpful is kind of sitting down and just doing some education and having a talk about, it's not just play. We're actually working through X, Y, and Z. Like I'm watching him and his ability to cope with losing or anger management type stuff. We are using play and he's using these miniatures and kind of acting out a sequence of events that he's gone through as he was removed from his home and placed in a residential placement. Sometimes people who are outside of the therapeutic realm don't understand what we're doing all the time, and we just need to kind of build them in. Minding HIPAA.
They're almost like angry with the child because the child has exhibited some behaviors that are frustrating. And then I'm coming across like I'm rewarding them
With play.
with play.
I think that a couple slides ago when we talked about all of those things that we can see, like the indecisive, decisive, competition, going back to a lot of those things and just giving some education. We have to tell parents a lot, like, we're not just playing. Like, if you notice, while you guys were doing Play-Doh together, all of the eye contact he just gave you, which he hasn't done before, or his ability to focus on this game for 3 to 5 minutes, where before he couldn't focus for more than 2. Those small victories are very important, and we need to kind of just do our part in explaining that and being patient. We do it a lot, all the time. Don't bring your toys over here anymore. Okay. Probably gonna still do that, but. Okay. Okay, so here's another activity. This is called the Hoberman Sphere. Has anyone ever seen these before? Ours used to light up. One of my children broke it. Go figure. Maybe let's see if I can get it to work. No, okay. Well, I know a lot of the times we use like the analogy of smell the flowers, blow up the birthday candles when we're talking about deep breathing, which is great. I think it's a good way to explain it. Sometimes kiddos need a more tangible or a visual cue. So we're gonna practice together. Yay. So we're gonna practice deep breathing. When we open our Hoberman sphere, we inhale. And as we do that, we're watching the ball get bigger, and also our bellies are getting bigger with air, our lungs are getting bigger with air. And then as we close our Hoberman square nice and slow, our sphere nice and slow, we're exhaling and everything gets smaller. Okay, so we're gonna do it together. Are you ready? Okay, ready? Fun, right? We won't keep doing it. We're not gonna hyperventilate. You can get these little guys. There's a 3-pack on Amazon for $8.97. So if you and 2 buddies want to go in on it, you can get one each for $3. And that's Amazon Prime. Be here in 2 days. I don't know if it's the same size as this. I didn't check as closely. We got these at a craft fair because I had to entertain my kids while I was shopping. So those are fun. Let's skip ahead. Okay. So play and learning. Here's another thing that you can say, Lisa, to teachers, is that when kiddos play, they're actually contributing to their development, their social, emotional, their physical development, and cognitive development. And so it lays the foundation for successful adulthood and skills that kids need throughout adulthood. So cognitively, they're working on curiosity, problem solving, flexibility, and their verbal and nonverbal skills. Social emotional skills like confidence, cooperation and conflict, management, sharing, empathy, and communication. And then their physical skills like gross and fine motor. So that's another thing that you can kind of say is like, you know, these things actually do help. When kids play, they are learning a lot, especially at ages 0 to 3. That's a huge learning piece. And then through all that play, clients are empowered to develop trust, develop self-respect, change behavior, change expectations, develop empathy, and be open to joy. And the thing I always go back to, it's really hard to be angry in a session when you're blowing up a balloon, filling it with all your anger and your hot air, and then letting the thing go and fling around the room. It's really hard to continue to be mad after you do that 3 or 4 times. Typically, you end up giggling and laughing, or talking about how stupid it is that the thing is flying everywhere. Okay? So, just a thing to keep in mind. It can kind of break up the monotony of therapy sometimes. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to my friend Andrew here. I don't know if anyone has seen this before, but this is just kind of cute. And I got to get it to work.